Hey, I'm back. Happy Monday. Happy to be here. I got a pretty cool topic today. I hope you had a great weekend. Oh, my shit's all crooked. What's up with that? A little better? I don't know. I never know. All right, so listen. I want to talk about comping. I think, and this is something that I transitioned away from years ago, but having gone through and participated in a project recently that involved lots of comping and pre-work. It was interesting. And now the title is Skip Figma, Design Directly in Squarespace. And that's exactly what I mean. But it's not just Figma. I think evolving design practices have moved away from Photoshop and Illustrator and any app. Sketch. I used to do comps in Sketch. I really liked Sketch. And before that, it was Macromedia Fireworks and all kinds of cool apps. And what I realized as Squarespace specifically, but page builder apps, and this may not just be for Squarespace. You can do this with Wix or any competitor, including Webflow or Framer. But I like to do it in Squarespace specifically because the Fluid Engine Builder is really good. And now that there are different things that are common in design apps that builders never had before in Fluid Engine, like overlay types, like multiply and stuff like that. And when you think about the ability to layer things and all of the shapes and the things you can do in there now is just awesome. It does 80% of what we needed core functionality in design apps. Now, design apps built up culture for 30 years and people get to know them. The challenge that we have as designers, and this is common, I've even fallen prey to it, is that it's the old adage, when all you have is a hammer, everything looks like a nail. And I think it's time to evolve away from that. And I know this is true because I run a business that does this and has done it for years. And the beauty is most people don't even know or care. Like, no client cares that you're in Figma or Photoshop most of the time. They don't care. What they care about is the outcome. And if we're selling or sharing or having conversations about the outcome, what apps we're using at the end of the day may not actually matter. So let me get into the evolving design, what that means. Like I said, design comps, Photoshop or Figma, any design app, it doesn't really matter what you use. Direct implementation does a couple of things for us. It eliminates the need for translating the design to code or to themes that may or may not fit exactly what we were going for in the design. It is too easy to design something with only ballpark consideration for how it gets implemented inside of a code or no code platform. The beauty of direct implementation in Squarespace is that all we have to do is turn the site on, like make it live, pay for it, or publish it, or point the domain at it. Like, there's only a few things to do, and then boom, you're live. There's no waiting around another week or 6 weeks to get something coded or built or designed inside of the platform just to be reviewed again. It's a tremendous waste of time. So the next one would be real-time collaboration. The platform allows us to hover over the actual design and the actual files that will be published. And that allows stakeholders to see a more dynamic and or evolving version of what is real and accessible. We don't have to share that we're actually working in Squarespace, but that does help because it enhances the client involvement in the application itself and in the workflow. So by touching it and seeing it, we're actually training them on it pretty cool, right? It's like their deeper involvement and the cost efficiency that comes with that sort of, I want to say, consolidation of effort and time into one narrow window of design is a huge savings. And not just from a development translation from design standpoint, but also from a transitioning to live and training standpoint. And that's a huge cost efficiency and time efficiency, to be honest. So we're also doing immediate responsiveness testing, so we don't lose time in responsiveness or say a mobile view. It is my experience that most brands come into a web design project focused entirely on a website that fits the resolution of their desktop. Very few people think about other resolutions, larger or smaller. It just needs to look good on their computer, which is reasonable and understandable, but also it's our job to help them understand that that is tremendously short-sighted and a disservice to people who have other resolutions, especially if they get mobile traffic. A lot of businesses get more mobile traffic on the weekends than they do during the week. Then having a mobile first, and while that's fun to say, there aren't a lot of businesses that get all their traffic on mobile. If they do, then focus entirely on mobile. That is a big challenge because the brand may not actually care about mobile all that much because they're not looking at it on mobile. They're looking on the desktop. So by streamlining that process of immediate responsiveness testing is that we're always switching between the two. Then we don't have to go back after we've designed or built the mobile or the desktop version and then share and review the mobile version. It consolidates that all into one workflow. And it's pretty common for there to be mobile hiccups. I'm not saying mobile's always perfect, but if it is a priority or if tablet is a priority, even though tablets don't drive much traffic, then we can do that all in one place. It's nice. And then we're also doing live content iteration when we're working with the actual website. So the copywriter can have access and put the copy in there. You can use Squarespace's AI writing tools to help ideate something or consolidate something or refine something. It's really nice to have all that set up in there. And sometimes, like I was just on a web design project that had a lot of stakeholders, and it was common. It was a workflow that was very common 20 years ago, where we had a copy deck in like a Google Doc or worse, a Word document, and version control is just a disaster. And then there was a Figma file, and everybody had to approve the design. And then they were like, oh, and then we need a Figma file for our mobile. We just put that right into the Figma file next to each page. It doesn't show how things translate. I know that can be done in Figma, but the file wasn't initially created by me, so I didn't really have the authority to go and change all that, and honestly, I wasn't getting paid for it. So here's the other thing. So you got a text document for your content, you got your Figma file, and then and then we've got the web design, the web platform. And as edits come in, the old files or the source content files all degrade. They don't all get updated. So the source of truth is kind of bananas. It goes all over the place, and version control becomes a real issue. But if we're always only designing and writing inside of Squarespace, all of the stakeholders and collaborators, it goes really fast, and there is no version control issue. We're looking at the real. The real is the real. It's right in front of you. Super efficient. I mean, that saves, that can shorten the timeline of a big project like that with a lot of stakeholders by a month. It's nuts. Another benefit I would say is SEO and performance insights. We can do testing as we go. We can update the meta content to make sure our keyword phrasing is right. And I use SEO Space, link below. SEO Space is really great at scoring a page as we go and letting us know things we need to do to optimize images, optimize content, optimize the meta content, optimize our linking strategy, keyword strategy. We're having that conversation as we go through it, and it really helps that the copywriter can see that as we go through, and we can have real-time collaboration, single source of truth. There's no like going back after the website is done, which is sadly incredibly common in the web design industry to say, okay, website's published, now SEO it. Oh my gosh, we could have been doing that the whole time. Yes, you can have that in there, but oftentimes the SEO writer or the SEO manager or optimization specialist or agency or whatever isn't the copywriter for the core content of the website, and they're working in silos if they've even met outside of an email chain. So it's nice to have everybody in one place working on the same documents, same single source of truth, and collaborating in real time. Now, I did cover the education. My next bullet is educational opportunities, and I kind of stepped on that one earlier. By working in the platform, we're actually training on the platform, and it's really nice to not have to go back and train them after the fact. My videos on training largely are evergreen, and I know a lot of you all do that as well, to say this is how you do this inside of Squarespace. And of course, there's a plethora of videos here on YouTube that you can watch to help you do all of the things. But don't underestimate when you're interacting with the app on a call in front of someone that they're seeing how easy it is to use and learning what you're clicking on and what the outcomes are. It sort of happens as you go. It's nice. It's not everything, I get it, but it's a start. And then I would say it helps with future-proofing. When you're starting from scratch and you're doing it inside of the platform, there is, like I mentioned earlier, a single source of truth that everybody is working from, and version control doesn't get too nuts. And that can help when it comes to future-proofing our workflow and our relationship with the client, to make sure that they're always in the know of what is the status of any of the content or design. The version control, I don't know if you've ever named Word document content or text files or Photoshop documents or Figma files, V01, V02. And it's really fun when you get like underscore, like client name underscore V03A, V03B, final 2, final 3, file 3.2. Like, it gets absolutely nuts. And when you're sharing all these links with clients, or at least when I've done it in the past, they're like, they just give up. I don't know what to click on now, man. You've absolutely sent a tsunami of files, and it's not that I'm a busy person. And you know what? They're right. We screwed that up. And I was screwing that up 20, 30 years ago, and I don't do that anymore. I say this file, this domain, client.squarespace.com, that's where you go. You will always see the latest and greatest. Done. Now, the natural question is, how do you comp? How do I present multiple versions of creative for a brand or a client? And that's where being a Circle member comes in handy. Squarespace Circle, their community of designers and developers, is amazing, but it gives you the opportunity to, right now I'm a gold member, whatever, and I get 6-month trials. So once the site is designed, we've cascaded the content in there, we feel good, like, okay, we're going to share this with the client, I think it's ready, duplicate the site, change the design. Duplicate the site again, change the design. And you can do that as many times as you want. Don't show the client too many creative versions. 2, 3, 4, whatever you've agreed upon, whatever is part of your workflow. In my workflow, I don't show multiple versions of the design. I choose instead to give you unlimited design edits. So if they're unhappy with the design, then we can change it until they're in love with the design. I don't necessarily care. Because the thing with multiple designs that I have found in the past is that it is pretty rare for someone to say, let's go with version B, or let's go with version 2 of, if you show 3 comps or 3 designs. What happens most of the time, and I've seen this hundreds of times, is they're like something about 1, something about 2, and they don't want to talk about 3 or any combination therein. And they want to sort of juxtapose or create this amalgamation, cramming these things together and to make one design file that they would never do with a strategic document. No one would take a strategy document created in Word or Google Docs or something and say, oh, I like some parts of this one, I like some parts of that one. Cram them together and make one. Like, I don't think anybody would ever say that. But they do it with design. And they do that for 2 reasons. One, you haven't positioned design as strategic, and you haven't controlled the review process. I have a course for that. There's a link below. The review meeting process needs to be handled in a way that covers the principles of design and talks about the strategy you're enacting as the designer, that shows and proves, puts a stake in the ground, that their design, that their business goals will be met because we followed a certain strategy. When you're doing strategic design, I'm not so sure multiple comps does that for you. You're really asking, which one do you like? And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending upon what you think, they don't have to like the design. Nobody has to like the design. That it's nice, sure. But a car that looks great with no motor isn't going to drive down the roads. And a design that looks great but doesn't help meet their business goals strategically is also not going to take the business anywhere. So I will say sometimes you don't have to like it. It has to work. And I've made plenty of hideous design in the past that performed like gangbusters in paid search. Yeah, you can over-design. So when it comes to comping, I don't invest heavily in multiple versions. If a new customer subscribes and is like, hey, I really want to see 3 looks here, and I have the conversation about how a workflow and how it goes, and they still want to see multiple versions, I have accommodated that in the past. And you know what happened? They just wanted to make a hybrid of all 3 of them. I liked this about this one, and this about this one, and this about this one, even though at no point in time were we coming to eat at a buffet. This was fine dining from the get. It was, not only was it fine dining, it was a fixie menu from the go. So I've learned a lot about how to communicate that out of the gate. And as I nurture anyone through the entire process, it's called the credibility playbook. It's an amazing process. That's why I don't show multiple comps, but I have, and I've done it hundreds and hundreds of times. And duplicating a website in Squarespace is so ridiculously easy that there really isn't a reason not to give that a go. So listen, design has evolved. I'm adamant that there is no reason to do pre-design in Figma or Photoshop or whatever app you use just to go and build the thing in Squarespace. It is absolutely redundant work that is an unnecessary waste of time or client money, or prevents client from getting to market faster. So that's my soapbox, and I'm going to stand on it. I don't really have much for Struggle Bus today. Let's think about it. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I don't have a Struggle Bus or an AI segment thing today. And you know what? I don't have to. I decide. This is my show. There's nobody in here. There's nobody asking questions or commenting. So I can say whatever I want. Well, within reason, right? So listen, if you disagree and you have valid points, and they're valid as to why comping works for you in your workflow. Leave a comment below. You can DM me, you can ping me, email me, whatever. If you want more of this, you want to be notified. I think I'm standing up. I started, but I haven't finished like a Luma thing to try and create recurring notifications that the show's about to publish. And that's about what I've got today. So I have a new subscriber, a new customer, or what you would traditionally call a client, and not comping, just one. And you know what? They're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. And if they don't, I will iterate it until they do. That's how we roll. But usually they love it right out of the gate, and that's a lot of experience, only because I've screwed up a lot of stuff. So that's basically what experience is. Anyway, 21 minutes, you made it. Great work, dudettes. I'm telling you. All right. I will see you Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern U.S. time. And I hope you have a tremendous week. Wait, I should do the thing where I do like I stopped doing the thumbnail pose. I was doing that for a little while. Thumbnail pose. Thumbnail posing is so weird. I'll be honest, I feel stupid doing it. But you see the thumbnails when you run a search in this app and you're like, there is no way that person makes that face all the time. It's so unnatural. It's so friggin' unnatural. But you got to do it. I just did it twice, thrice. I don't know. So I've done enough. It's just screen capture, man. We're going to be okay. So have a great week. I will talk at you Wednesday.